We're looking at a new BB expelling grenade in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. So if you guys use grenades in Airsoft, you guys probably know who Airsoft Innovations is. They're very famously known for their Tornado grenade, the actual timer version, and then the improved, in my opinion, Impact version. Well, flash forward to 2016, and they have a new product on the market, and it is the Cyclone grenade. So the Cyclone grenade is a much smaller form factor, and it's a kind of spiritual improvement upon their Impact grenade. So first off, obviously, is the size. This thing is about half the size of their Tornado grenade. So you obviously can carry more of these on you, and it's a lot easier to deploy because of that size. The other bonus is the price tag. Usually I wait to the end to tell you guys what the price is on these things, but this one, the big note is it's $39.99 retail, which is less than half of the current price of the Tornado and way less than half than the original price when the Tornado released. Loading is incredibly simple. You pop the bottom off and you pour the BBs in. Gone are the day of the speed loader. No more speed loader sitting there for, an hour loading in 100 and some odd BBs. In fact, this thing will hold 140 BBs right in here. You can pour them in, you can dip them into your bag. If you got a bottle, you can just open up the cap, hold your hand around it. You can just scoop them and dump them in. This is really nice. There's a lot of chambers here on the inside around the actual middle shuttle and fill nozzle that go in there. So that's how the BBs go in. I want to really hit that one first. But the other thing is, while they did simplify BB loading and filling and resetting, because resetting you'll actually just press this little white thing down and you'll fill all right here, all in one end, there's a few extra steps of getting this thing reset. Now the first thing noticeably is you get a real pin and a real spoon. So when you pull the pin, you'll actually have the pin that runs separate. It is locking, so you can actually keep this locked on here so you don't accidentally pull it out. I found though, if you leave it unlocked, it still grabs pretty darn well and will keep it in place without actually putting some decent force. Then you actually have the spoon on this. So once the spoon is off, this grenade is live once it's armed. There's actually a mechanism in here you'll reset, and I'll show you how to reset that in a second. When you throw it, the mechanism moves forward, springs down, and sets off the grenade. The grenade will actually then spin 220 feet per second of 140 BBs will come flying out in every different angle. It does come out of one single port over here, unlike the predecessor with the Tornado Impact grenades. You actually had two ports. You had to fill two separate chambers that spiraled around. Because this one is just a big chamber on the inside, there's gone of that spiral method of how it loads BBs. Everything just comes out of this one port. Once the grenade's gone off and you've got all these little components here, you'll have the spoon, you'll actually have the pin, and then you'll have the grenade. Once it's been fired, you're gonna go through a couple steps. You're gonna take the top off and you have to reset the firing pin. Now the firing pin will be in this down position, this little brass piece right here. You're gonna need to find kind of a hard surface. I found this is probably the easiest way to do it, or you can use like maybe the end of a screwdriver or something. Press it up and rock it toward the back of the actual thing. So you're gonna push it up and then move that plunger so it locks into place. Once it's locked in that forward position, you're gonna be able to put the spoon, which has some notches to keep it from shuffling back and forth, right on top of the actual grenade head. So once you have that in place, then you'll be able to actually put the pin in place and keep everything nice, safe, and secure. So once the pin is actually locked in here and you're good to go, you'll put the cap back on the top, you'll take it, you'll find where the parts match up, and you'll give it about a quarter twist till it locks and stops. Then on the bottom, you'll load those BBs like I talked about earlier, you'll push the shuttle down so it's flush here with the top. It'll kind of actually be slightly domed up. This white middle portion is that shuttle, and you'll fill it with gas. Once you put the cap on, it's armed. There is a trick also to the cap. You need to line it up. There's a little notch in here that lines up with a little groove over here so you get this on the right way so the gas system works. Once you get those two lined up, you'll push it down. You'll give it a slight twist, probably about 1/8 of a twist till it stops. Then your grenade is armed and ready to go. On the battlefield, like I said, we're back to that again. Pull the pin, let the spoon go, and you're good. Here's where the challenge comes in. You now have 3 components to keep up with in the battlefield. And I kind of wish they did something a little different here because you do have to keep up with all these. What they did do, thankfully, is put a small hole here on the actual spoon itself. So you can put a cord between the two and tie them together. I've even seen people tie these two together with a rope, so tie off on here and then there, and then put it around the core of the grenade and zip tie it in place. That's one way to keep all of it together. Unfortunately, because this is somewhat fragile, somebody could step on it, or as it swings around, could break it. you can break these, and you'll see we did break a few in our live test at SC Village. Rounding out the outside before we get to that live test, you do get, typically it comes in a blue sticker. I've replaced it with the orange sticker. You also get a black sticker. So you can color code these grenades. If you want subtle, you can move to the black. Orange and blue are brighter, and you can also mix them up to determine which one are yours. As people start purchasing these and they're more and more in the battlefield, it might be worth making it your own and putting these different stickers on there. All three are included in the packaging, so it's nice. The blue does come pre-applied, super easy to peel off, and if you're careful with it, you can even keep it and reapply it later. Also in the box, you're going to get grenade maintenance oil, which is very important. After every few uses, you're going to want to put a few drops in around that shuttle. When it blows out, there's an O-ring in there. There's also an O-ring at the top, so you're going to need to lube this for proper operation. All right, on to the fun part, actually out on the battlefield using these things. It was kind of an interesting game. Went out and played with Novritsch and Jet, and we did some filming out there as well as Leah. And they did grenade only games. And I really wanted to get all these in their hands to really run through the test well. Actually 22 grenades in all out there, 11 between each guy. And it was a grenade only game for them, but they were up against airsofters. While these things proved very effective to get over cover and go off, we did find that they didn't always go off. And I think some of that was determined to maybe the way we had the spoons attached. That could have been a challenge issue when they hit the ground, but I think more so the dust out there in SC Village. If you guys ever played at SC in Southern California, SC Viper specifically is the field we were on throughout the day, there's a lot of really fine dirt and dust. It's in the desert, so you end up with that inside the system. While we did loop it in between games, we found that I think some of that did lend to the malfunctions we were seeing. So keep in mind, if you guys are using these, you may end up with some malfunctions and some breakage. After some throwing, like I said, we were concerned about the spoons. We did see a few of those because they are a little weak, and if they do come off, people can step on them if you have to claim them up after the game. We ran into a few broken spoons as well. We definitely lost some pins in the process as well, even though we had them all tied up in the rope. And a couple bump caps did get a few cracks, although I will give you guys some credit. We were being a little zealous with some really long tosses into some hard buildings. So if you guys have been looking for an affordable grenade that isn't going to kill your pocketbook, definitely take a close look at the Cyclone Grenade from Airsoft Innovations. And of course, you guys want to know more about this, I'll have a link in the description below so you can click it and check it out. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the old subscribe button. In fact, you know what? If you didn't, hit the subscribe button anyway. I'd love to have you no matter what. Also, you see those little two moving pictures there on the side? The top one will take you over to some gameplay from Jet and Novritsch. The bottom one will take you over to behind the scenes from today's filming over there with Leah. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next Airsoftology review. But until then, go out, have some fun, play some Airsoft. But no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.